Now in this lesson, what I want to show you is an exercise that would prove to you in some way that the mind and body are connected and how you can achieve amazing results by using these tapping points. Now I call this exercise the breathing exercise, and it'll become obvious to you why I call it that. Now in a moment, but not yet, I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, I'm going to ask you to measure on a scale of 0 to 10 what number pops to mind of how full your lungs were. Now you may say, well, how am I going to measure that? Well, once you ask your subconscious mind a question, it will always give you an answer. Now it may not be a really loud answer, it'll be subtle, it just kind of pop to mind. You go, oh, where did that come from? That's the answer I want. I don't want you to kind of, well, what number is this? I don't know, yeah, I'll give it this. Whatever kind of feels right for you, the number that pops to mind, I want you to go with that. Now the 0 to 10 is actually called subject units of distress. And it's just a way of measuring problems that go on in our body in some way or our mind. It's just something that we can measure with. And so that at least that when we measure with it, we can see our results as they begin to change. And we'll be using this SUDS level, this 0 to 10, a lot throughout the rest of the exercises I'm going to be teaching you. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath in, just like I am, and exhale. Now 0 to 10, what number pops to mind how full your lungs were at that time? As I said, don't go looking for conscious right answers. Whatever number just kind of popped into your mind. Okay, now with that number, I want you to subtract that number from 10. Because for most people, they don't usually get 10 because they're expecting something weird here. This is something new and it can be seen weird to people what you're going to do. By tapping on these points, and some of the words I'm going to get you to say out loud are going to seem a little weird. So in some ways it causes a little bit of distress in your body, and so you may not have got a 10. If you got 10, perfect, just go along with this anyway, just to see what changes might happen. And so the number you got, I want you to subtract from 10. Okay, now the number you have remaining, we're going to call it breathing constriction. It's a constriction because your breath wasn't full 10. It should be 10. You know, your lungs should be able to fill up enough so they go to 10, whatever 10 is for you. It doesn't mean you have to be fit in any way, because your lungs will always breathe to the maximum level when you are relaxed. And this is about showing how to relax doing something very strange or unusual. I say that because people seem to think this is strange or unusual. Not for me, it's not. But at first it seems that way. Okay, so what I want you to do is with that number, called a breathing constriction, I want you to begin tapping on the karate chop point while saying after me out loud. That's very important to say out loud these words, because this plays a part in all of this, in tuning your mind into what you are doing by saying these words out loud. So even though I have this number of breathing constriction, I deeply and completely accept myself. Now we're going to say this 3 times while continuing to tap on the karate chop point. Remember what I said about tapping on the karate chop point does? It just allows the energy flow evenly around you. And it also breaks down resistance for what we're working on. So here we go again. Even though I have this number of breathing constriction, I deeply and completely accept myself. And one more time. Even though I have this number of breathing constriction, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay. Now what I want you to do is I'm going to ask you to start beginning to tap on the eyebrow point while saying the reminder phrase. This was called the setup phrase. This is called a reminder phrase. Now the reminder phrase we're going to use here is called just this number of breathing constriction. And say that out loud, and again at each other point. This number of breathing constriction. 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 Take a deep breath in, filling your lungs, and release that now. Now again, I want you to measure 0 to 10 what number pops to mind of how full your lungs were. Just notice what pops to mind. If it's the same number, that's okay. This is the first time we've done this exercise. And I find that sometimes when I work with people, it seems to be the same. However, I will be watching them. I can't see you obviously because we're on camera here. But I will be watching them and I will see that their breathing has gotten more smooth or softer in some way. I can't see you, so I have to allow for your judgment. So whatever number pops to mind, if it's the same one, that's okay. We're going to be doing this again. And whatever number you got, I want you to subtract from 10 again. You okay? Begin tapping on the karate chop point again. And say after me, even though I still have this number of breathing constriction, I deeply and completely accept myself. And again, even though I still have this number of breathing constriction, I deeply and completely accept myself. And one more time, even though I still have this number of breathing constriction, I deeply and completely accept myself. Now, again, that was your setup phrase, reminder phrase. Still have some breathing constriction. 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 Take a deep breath once again, filling your lungs, and exhale now. Okay, again, measure on a scale of 0 to 10 how full your lungs were. Notice what pops to mind. Hopefully you're noticing some changes. Hopefully you're noticing some changes in your breathing, that it feels more easy to breathe, or your lungs are filling more. It's different for everybody. Okay, whatever number popped to mind. If you're at 10, perfect. Just go along with me with this exercise anyway, just to familiarize yourself with the points that we're tapping on. So, with whatever number you still have, assuming you have a number, subtract that from 10. Again, tapping on the karate chop point. Even though I still have some number remaining of this breathing constriction, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I still have some number remaining of this breathing constriction, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I still have this number remaining of this breathing constriction, I deeply and completely accept myself. Now, onto the points. Still have this number. 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 Take a deep breath in, filling your lungs. And as you exhale, notice 0 to 10, what number pops to mind of how full your lungs were. Now, if you found it difficult to keep up with me with some of the setup phrases or reminder phrases, you can go back through this exercise and write them down just to get to know them, and you'll find it easier to keep up with me. And even if you didn't keep up with me and you managed to say some of the words, you were still focused on what you were working on, and you will probably notice there has been some changes. And that's what I'm hoping for you, that you've noticed by working with your mind and body together, you've actually achieved some physiological changes in your body by doing this exercise, the breathing exercise. And so now you know how effective EFT, emotional freedom technique, can be for you. So now you can move on and begin to do a little bit more work on what you really want to work on with EFT.